Hi, I'm John Crawford and I'm blind. Okay, this is going to be another edition of 10 things that are frustrating or frightening about being blind. The first thing we're going to start with is loud or dark environments, and here's why. With my vision the way that it is, I don't see very well in the dark anymore. Well, I don't see very well anyway, but I am particularly vulnerable in the dark. And that same is true with loud environments because I rely a lot on my hearing and what I hear in my environment. If I'm in a place that's pretty loud, it's going to be more difficult for me to navigate in that situation, and it's going to be more difficult for me to know what's going on around me. So loud and dark situations are very uncomfortable for me. The next one I'm going to talk about is the movies. Going to the movies, up until recently, has been a source of frustration for me for a very long time. From the time I was a little kid, a lot of times I wouldn't pick up on what was going on the movie until I got home and saw it at some later point on TV. Audio description has made that a lot better, and I think that's going to be a lot more fun. I've started using it, and I'm really enjoying what I'm experiencing so far. The third one I want to talk about is crowds. Crowds are very difficult, and I have a question. I am a relatively new cane traveler, and I travel alone a lot. I walk to a lot of the places that I go to with my cane, and one of the things that I'm having difficulty with is dealing with finding the end of the line. I find myself sometimes bumping into people, or I have cut in front of somebody before, not meaning to, of course, but they're usually very patient. They see me with the cane and they usually back off and let me go. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be a person with using the cane as a way of, trying to part the waters or whatever. I want to be just like everybody else. And I find myself in a situation where sometimes I break line or I can't tell where the beginning of the line is, and I find myself just kind of asking the open air, hey, is this the end of the line? Or sometimes I can see a silhouette of somebody and I can tell there's a person there. But in general, dealing with crowded situations and especially lines is particularly challenging and very frustrating for me. Number 4 is messy food. I'm talking about a sandwich that falls apart while you're eating it, or a dish that you're eating and you don't exactly know how it's constructed, so it becomes very messy when you eat it. Barbecue is a particularly really good culprit for that, or any kind of a hamburger with tomato. So a lot of times I get my burgers and sandwiches without tomato because tomato makes the sandwich soggy and the thing starts to fall apart. And that is so frustrating when you can't see. You don't know. You end up wearing it, and that's really embarrassing in public. So messy food. Number 5 is heights. For me, heights are becoming more and more bothersome. I can get up on a ladder and do things, but I'm really, really uncomfortable with that. I talked before about working on a roof, and I was really uncomfortable doing it. I managed to finally get my bearings, but I really don't like heights. I feel very vulnerable in situations like that. Number 6 is one that I think is a matter more of personal preference, because I see a lot of blind people talk about going hiking and stuff like that, and they do really well with it. So I congratulate my blind companions who can get out there in nature and go hiking and go out on the trails. But I find that exceedingly frustrating. I can't stand when we're going out and people start talking about, watch this route, there's a route coming up, or watch out, we got a really rocky place right here, and we're getting ready to go down a steep area right here, or whatever. I hate that. That makes me very uncomfortable. I feel very unsure of myself. I feel very off balance. So I really hate that. Now, on the other hand, I do like to go out in nature if I'm riding a horse, for example. I did that one time, and that was actually really nice. I was on the back of the horse. The horse was dealing with the rough terrain, and I was just up there enjoying the cool of the woods, and it was really, really nice. We also have a nice area here called the Greenway, which is kind of a paved trail area, and you can get out there and you can enjoy the trees and the scenery and all of that without dealing with all of the rough terrain of a nature walk. Like I said, there's a lot of my blind companions out there who really get into nature walks and hikes and stuff like that, and I congratulate them for that because I'm just not comfortable in that situation. Number 7, volleyball. Volleyball was absolutely terrifying to me when I was a kid. They used to make me play volleyball no matter how many times I went to the coach and said, hey, I can't do that. I really don't like the idea of a ball coming down on me from way up above. That was absolutely horrifying, the idea of getting hit with that ball. Or another thing that was really bad about that was I was always the weak member of the team. And anytime I was placed on a volleyball team in PE class, I was always the one that let the ball go because I couldn't see it to block it or anything like that. So I that made for some bad moments for me in public school. So volleyball, and I might add to that any kind of a game or a sport where the ball is thrown at me rapidly, that makes me super uncomfortable. Number 8 is unfamiliar. Let me put an emphasis on here. I'm a very social guy and I like talking to people, but unfamiliar social situations where I don't know the environment that I'm in. So going to a party in an unfamiliar place is a really good example of something I'm really not comfortable with, because I have to go and I have to try to gauge my surroundings. I don't know anybody that's there usually, and I can't read body language. I can't mingle like the other people. I am relegated to sitting in a seat somewhere, usually kind of out of the way, and I can't get up and mingle or talk to people, and I have to hope that somebody will come over and talk to me. So I really don't have a lot of fun in social situations like that. Number 9, and this one gets on my last nerve, and that is subtitles in movies or things that are read in print on the screen, letters or passages from books, or those nice little blurbs in old movies where you see a newspaper or whatever, or a written note, anything like that that has to be read with the eyes. No way, I am out. I absolutely hate that. Some kind-hearted person might be sitting with me and read it to me, or I have to pause the movie, use the Zoom feature on my phone, and take 10 extra minutes trying to sort through this piece of information that is given to us in print. But I think that audio description is really knocking that out for us. But for many, many years, we didn't have audio description. And for years and years, they put subtitles in movies, written letters, printed things that you're supposed to use to pick up the storyline, and that got on my last nerve. Number 10, internet photographs or videos where I can't tell what's going on. It is always nice when somebody takes the time to describe what's in the photograph, but a lot of times when we're scrolling around on social media, there are photographs or videos of things, and we can't tell what's going on, so we miss out on the joke, or we miss out on what it is that other people are talking about. One tip that I find is that if a photograph is put up and I don't know what's going on, if I go through the comments, if enough people are commenting on a given photograph, sometimes I can pick up by the context of what they're saying what's happening in the photo, and then I can go back and look for cues in the photograph. But I find that that is really irritating. It would be nice if somebody could take the time to describe the photographs to us. Okay, guys, these are just 10 more things that are frustrating or frightening about being blind. Okay, if you've got anything like this that you'd like to share with us, please drop it in the comment section, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.